This video is brought to you by French Quarter Shops. If you want to get some of our New Orleans playing cards, we're doing a special where we're doing free shipping and we shaved a little bit off the price. So this is the perfect time to copy you a deck. Make sure you copy it and support us. Happy Mardi Gras. Make sure you go to www.frenchquartershops.com or click the link in the description. So a limited time only, y'all, so hop on it.
Well, you know that the city of New Orleans, as it relates to Mardi Gras, we plan Mardi Gras. It's a year-long effort. And a part of our unified command is the federal government, Homeland Security, as well as FBI. So in reaching out, meaning my health directors and public safety officials, every step of the way consulted with federal partners.
Mardi Gras is a huge part of New Orleans culture. One would argue that it's the most popular tourist attraction our city has to offer. The spirit of Fat Tuesday is one of the elements that make New Orleans such an attractive place to visit. Every year, tourists would flock to the Big Easies to experience all that Mardi Gras had to offer. Sadly, this year will be a little different. 2020 was a tough year for most of us. The world stopped turning and things still haven't returned to normal. Mardi Gras 2020 was one of the weirdest Mardi Gras that I've ever experienced as a New Orleans local. There were a lot of things that seemed off during those 2 weeks, and the city collectively felt the energy. I honestly was not surprised when it was announced that there would not be any parades in 2021 for Mardi Gras. The following is my documentation of Mardi Gras 2020 and a breakdown of the events that led to the cancellation of all parades in New Orleans for 2021. This piece will also explore the history and concepts of the religious holiday. I personally filmed about 4 parades last year. A few of them ended early for reasons that I will discuss later in this piece. I also sat down with members of the community to get their thoughts on how they feel about the state of the city. For starters, what is Mardi Gras? Mardi Gras is a French holiday based on a religious event that translates into Fat Tuesday. Catholicism is the home of Mardi Gras, and the holiday is a very important part of the Lent season. Fat Tuesday falls the day before Ash Wednesday, which is the first fasting day leading up to Easter 46 days later. There are some researchers that believe that Mardi Gras dates back to the Roman holiday Saturnalia, but this isn't historical fact. Mardi Gras is often viewed as a way to let yourself go before fasting begins for the Lent season. Traditionally, people will eat fatty foods leading up to Lent, hence the term Fat Tuesday. Since Mardi Gras is a religious holiday and linked to moon cycles, the date changes every year. Mardi Gras for 2021 will be on the 16th of February.
Mardi Gras is probably like one of the most important events that happens for us. We have a lot of like recurring festivals and times of year and everything, and New Orleans being a very Catholic city, Mardi Gras was one of those festivals that kind of like ties in, and seasons that ties into our Catholic calendar. So our spiritual calendar. Mardi Gras Day is the day before Ash Wednesday, which is AKA Lent. So that's when you do your 40 days of fasting. That's the point of Mardi Gras, kind of. You get to have the best time. You get to do kind of like whatever you want, and then you sacrifice for like 40 days until Easter and act like nothing ever happened.
The season for Mardi Gras is 2 weeks leading up to Fat Tuesday. These 2 weeks are filled with parades that feature larger-than-life floats, masked gift givers, and a lot of music.
So Mardi Gras, it's all about the music. It's mainly about the music. Parades are, the Indians, but the music, without the music, you have nothing. So for us, it's everything. And like I said, it leads to all the festivals.
The biggest parades are held on Mardi Gras Day. The Monday before Mardi Gras, known as Lundi Gras, is also a pretty big day in the season.
It's just like for most states, they have family reunions. For a lot of families, that's their family reunions. A lot of people come back home for Mardi Gras. You know, a lot of people meet up where they've been meeting up for years at these parade spots. You know, like me and my family, we always go on Jackson and Magnolia. You feel me? So it's like a family reunion. Like you might be running around doing your thing all year, all around the world, but you gonna come back home for Mardi Gras and link up with your family.
Usually during Mardi Gras, I put my camera down and enjoy time with family and friends. I know that sounds backwards, but Mardi Gras is a normal occurrence, so I didn't think anything of it. For some reason in 2020, I felt compelled to go to the parades with all of my camera gear. The first parade that I went to was Nyx. My friend Brittany and I went early to make sure that we got a good view of the parade. We had no idea how things were going to turn just a few minutes after things got started.
We just found out that a woman has been ran over by a parade float, and that's why the parade hasn't started yet. And it's actually almost 2.5 hours late now. She ended up not making it.
Geraldine Carmouche, a New Orleans native, lost her life that night, and the city was in shock. Things like this don't happen during Mardi Gras often.
So we were waiting for the parades to come, and everybody was just out there, and then finally the parade rolled through, but only like a few of the floats, and then they just stopped. And we just kind of, by the time we were like getting aggravated, you know, we even got food, we came back, what's going on? Everybody's still there waiting. And then I asked somebody in the crowd, and this lady tells me that somebody just got ran over by a float and died.
Before we go further along in the story, I want to educate you for a few moments on Mardi Gras crews and Indians. The Mardi Gras crews are a very important aspect of the carnival season. A crew is a social organization that puts on a parade or a ball for the carnival season. The term is best known for its association with Mardi Gras celebrations in New Orleans. Each crew has a king and queen that works hard during the year for the big ball. The identities of the king and queen are closely guarded secrets until the night of the ball. Most of the balls are formal and private. Super crews like Endymion and Orpheus are known for having the most extravagant balls. These balls are held in the highest profile locations in New Orleans. My personal favorite part of Mardi Gras is the Indians, though. The Mardi Gras Indians are made up of African American tribes who were left out of the mainstream Mardi Gras traditions due to racism and slavery. We had to find our own way to celebrate Mardi Gras in our neighborhoods.
The culture of masking Indian is at least about 300 years old. So we pretty much hold it in the city. And there's a lot of stories that's been told about the masking culture or the Mardi Gras Indians, as they labeled us, because we couldn't come out, we couldn't wear our traditional clothing, indigenous clothing. So that was the only time you could actually be who you were. You know, it was, I think one of the governors of Louisiana passed a law that black folks couldn't wear feathers, or they couldn't look Indian. Yeah, so that's one of the days, that and St. Joseph night, that we were allowed to put on these, we call them suits, or you can call them regalia, cultural clothing.
It's really just needle and thread. You gotta sew. And then it's like, if you want mask, you gotta sew. That's the only way you gonna mask. This a bag. I had like some drink, wine pouch, the diamonds and stuff. This was my gloves, stoned. This was my collar. This went around like my neck. When I was, like 6 maybe, my cousin always was an Indian. Like, it was always in the family. Like, a lot of people was an Indian. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, I want to do it. I did it the first time. Then I did it a second time. And then I got older. I'm like, I want to do it again. So I kept asking my dad. He was like, we going to wait because we don't got nobody for you to mess with. So I'm like, all right. So then we finally had somebody that I could run with. So I did it. And that's what I like doing.
Traditionally, the crews model their structure from Greek and Roman themes. The names usually mirror those of mythological heroes and gods. The structure of the crews copy royal hierarchy. Black people were kept out of these traditions for more reasons than one. This led to the development of our own traditions.
Man, it's important, because this is our heritage, this is our culture. So when you look at the indigenous roots of everything, that means that's where everything sprung from. So when you look at, I guess if we're looking at music, whether it's hip hop, jazz, blues, or whatever, but let's focus on hip hop here in rap here in New Orleans. The major labels that we love, Cash Money, No Limit. The music that comes out of that, the beats that come out of that, you can trace back here to New Orleans, to Congo Square, the drums, when people used to gather on Sundays. And not necessarily, I hate to use free, because enslaved, you were still a slave. Those that were enslaved, those that were free people of color, those that were indigenous, even the white folks and whoever came to Congo Square, sharing their gifts, sharing their talent, sharing that music, that beat that came out of that, the second lines that preceded, the processions, the dancing. Hence why Sundays are still so sacred here in New Orleans, the celebration of life that goes on. That's why everything from second lines to certain things to Indian practice happens on Sundays, because it's a continuation of that. Those traditions, those ancestors that still are in us, are still with us and through this music.
At first I was mastering with this all youth tribe, and eventually I decided it was time for me to part ways. So I wanted to leave, but my brothers were also in that tribe. So I gave them the option to stay, because since I was leaving, I didn't want it to be like, oh, you have to leave too or anything. But they decided to come with me. And closer to Mardi Gras, 3 other kids from that tribe also decided to come with me as well. So Mardi Gras 2018, I came out with my own tribe. But I didn't come out as a big chief yet, because I wanted to do it traditionally and not be like anybody that just starts up a tribe. So that year I masked and went out to go get my blessings from all the big chiefs to become a big chief. And 2019 I came out masking the youngest big chief in the city, Black Hawk Hunters.
Our tribe, we are a more established tribe. We've been around since, my dad has been the chief since 1963. Yeah, 1963. So yeah, we've been around for a while. Our tribe is typically like most tribes in the city, but we have our own way of doing things. Every tribe has their own way of doing things. And in our tribe, we just like to promote positivity and like to just have fun and represent the culture in the right way,
The city was a bit shaken up by the events of Nyx. I had to convince myself to get back out there and film more after Nyx was cut short. I knew that my best bet at great footage would be to grab some footage of Endymion. The crew of Endymion is one of the 3 super crews in New Orleans. This guaranteed the biggest floats, best strolls, and longest duration to capture great footage. The atmosphere in Endymion was a breath of fresh air. I almost had gotten over the shock from the events at Nyx. We would have never guessed that we would lose someone else to another float incident, but sure enough, that's what happened.
I'm right there when the 14th float passed me up. The very next block, the person got ran over. You get what I'm saying? Float 14 is passing me up. They threw something off. They went down to the next block. It stopped. We looking like, why it stopped? It stopped. It never kept going. Next thing you know, we walked down there. The person is underneath them. By this time, the police still hadn't came over them because they didn't know. Come to find out, I think he was trying to just get something and fell. And then when he fell, like, it went underneath it. It's just crazy.
The parade was canceled after Joe Sampson, a 48-year-old native, was struck and killed by one of the floats on the parade route. This was days after the first incident, and the city didn't know what to make of it. After Endymion, I was pretty much done with the season. The night before Zulu, the most important parade of the season in my opinion, I laid down contemplating if I should attend. I felt that the universe was trying to tell me to stay inside. These feelings were heightened after hearing about a virus called COVID-19 that had recently made its way to the United States from overseas. Something was just telling me to stay home, but I couldn't miss Zulu. The Zulu Parade was by far my biggest highlight of the season. Waking up early, seeing everyone you know, eating fresh food, I couldn't miss that. Zulu being held on Mardi Gras Day is usually the best way to wrap up the season. But I was just still trying to find the spirit. I actually had ran into my dad out there and found a place to chill and watch the parade. Everything about Zulu was right. The weather was amazing, and everyone was having fun. There weren't any tragedies, nor were there any violent disturbances. I enjoy filming Zulu more than any other parade. Once Zulu was over, everyone returned to their daily lives. The idea was to get back to reality. No one realized the severity of what happened during Mardi Gras from a public health standpoint.
Experts say, Mayor, that the Mardi Gras celebrations at the end of February in New Orleans may have actually played a role in accelerating the spread of this virus. More than 1 million people came to your beautiful city at the time. We're showing some video of that right now. At the time, Mayor, did you have any guidance from health experts on the potential risk?
COVID-19 hit New Orleans like a wildfire. Almost as soon as Mardi Gras concluded, I started seeing headlines about the pending pandemic around the clock.
At that point during Mardi Gras, there were no confirmed cases in the States. So we thought everything was fine. 2 weeks later, after Mardi Gras Day, after all the craziness that happened for the last 2 weeks before then, 2 weeks later, you hear, oh, New Orleans is actually the hot spot that starts all the things in the rest of the country. But it came through New York first. So it obviously was a traveler that came here that did but still, damn, that's when it all started to crumble for us out here. And poor LaToya Cantrell, they just started harping on her. She had her run on CNN for a minute.
Mayor Cantrell was being summoned before the masses on national news networks like CNN to explain what the city went wrong by hosting Mardi Gras festivities. I started to see my friends and family get sick, and my dad even caught it.
I think people just knew something was coming. You know, that's when the coronavirus, they first started talking about it. We didn't really know the shutdown was gonna be big like it was, you know what I'm saying? We ain't know it was gonna be like that. We thinking, oh, they got a virus and you know.
Mardi Gras 2020 was the last large-scale event that New Orleans had in over a year. The pandemic ruined the New Orleans economy by crippling our primary breadwinner, the tourism industry.
For me, you know, it's hitting the pockets. You know, it's hitting the pockets, let's be honest. No gigs, you know, we got a little virtual gig in a couple of weeks, but it's not the same at all. You know, it's just not the same, it's not happening. Right now, we've been doing a lot of little short videos, I guess, just to stay relevant and keep our name going, or we doing something. You know, little clips of doing the TikTok challenges and stuff. You know, we gotta do everything to stay relevant, just to do something, because nothing happening. Mardi Gras is, you know, big hit.
New Orleans has since been seeing dark times since the fall of our tourism and hospitality sectors. It's starting to seem like Mardi Gras 2020 was our going away party. Our economy has taken a lot of hits, and now the communities are suffering the consequences. Crime is up and carjackings are at a record high. It's crazy to think how the city was held up by one pillar, and now that it's gone, we don't know how to maneuver. There have been a lot of ideas surfacing from natives on how to keep the Mardi Gras tradition alive. I've seen things like virtual parade apps, to a Mardi Gras rendition of Christmas in the Oaks, called Floats in the Oaks. The city is stuck between a rock and a hard place due to its need for tourism dollars and the duty to keep its citizens healthy during these times. One of my favorite things that the city started doing is called Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras is another Christmas-style approach to Mardi Gras that involves house decor. Participants are finding whatever they could to turn their house into a Mardi Gras float that can be seen by onlookers.
The Mardi Gras, Mardi Gras isn't even nothing new. Like, Mardi Gras is something that we always decorate our house. That's always been a thing. Now, to make your house afloat, that's some extra ass shit. And I'm enjoying it. I really do love seeing it. Honestly, St. Charles houses was doing this a long time ago, but to see actual parts of floats on houses has been different. And I think that that's gonna be a tradition that doesn't stop, honestly. I think people are gonna be decorating their houses, decking their houses out for Mardi Gras for years to come.
This is a perfect example of taking lemons and making lemonade. Although it doesn't bring in as much profit as our traditional approach, it does a great job of keeping us in the spirit during this season. We're almost at the end of this video. So I wanna know, have you ever been to New Orleans for Mardi Gras? And for my fellow native, what's your favorite part about Mardi Gras? Hopefully next year we'll be back in the swing of things and I can make a follow-up using 2022 footage. I hope you enjoyed this piece, and don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time.